Okay, thank you so much, Audrey. I'll start with answering your question when you ask, what advice do you have for the listener in terms of personal finance with regard to tax and property investing with regard to tax? I think for me, there are key things here. When you are investing in property, you need to ensure that you keep records. And I think that's crucial. Let me give you an example. You know that when you're generating rental incomes, you are allowed to deduct expenses against such rental income, provided those expenses were as a result of you generating that rental income. What I mean is that for you to generate rental income, let's put it as simple. So you'll be renting a property to Shilly Boy, and then Shilly Boy will be paying the monthly rental, right? And then as a result, I will want to rent a property in a more decent accommodation. And for that to happen, it means you as Umastand, you must actually be fixing certain things. It can be a window, it can be a door, it can be a roofing, it can be a painting for that matter, or those leakages when there's a rain, you find that the rain comes in. So I will expect you to actually be doing those type of maintenance, and such maintenance are actually deductible against the rental income that me as Shilly Boy, I will actually be paying you as Umastand. So that's very crucial, because when you're going to be submitting your tax returns, which is one of the things that is required, as long as you're generating an income, you need to be having a tax number and you need to be registered with SARS and disclosing such kind of information to SARS so that you don't also find yourself in a difficult position at the later stage. And then as a result, such information submitted to SARS, you'll also be required to submit such supporting information when it comes to those expenses that you have deducted. So that is pretty much how I can answer that question. And of course, let's make sure that we disclose such kind of rentals that we're generating from our back rooms. It's also important. And I always say, yes, you might want to not to disclose such, and collecting those rentals on a cash basis where you're not actually putting them in the banking system. The sad part is that with that is that you are actually disadvantaging yourself, because you are actually eliminating yourself from the financial system, and which also limit your growth as a property investor. Because if you show from the banking side that you are actually generating this money from rental income, you could potentially, with a clean credit record, you can actually potentially even utilize such cash flow to have more properties in future. So can you see that there are also benefits for actually disclosing such, and the equally so also disclosing to SARS and paying tax. Thank you so much, Audrey. And I'd like to answer your question when you're asking me, if I don't pay my rates and taxes, will SARS come after me? It's quite a very interesting question, but I want to clarify first by the issue of rates and taxes. Loosely speaking, rates and taxes, we normally refer to those rates and taxes that municipality charge us. So that is typically what we call wealth tax in the definition of academic, but you don't have to worry about that. The issue is that rates and taxes is those obligations that we have to pay for municipalities, because they provide specific services when it comes to when it comes to properties. It can be refused. It can be just because we own in property, now we must pay those rates. So that, hence I said it's a kind of wealth tax. You're being taxed for being rich. And so I think that is where, but the question is, now will SARS come after me? I wouldn't see how SARS will come after you, because it's not really related to SARS. It's a way of revenue generation by the municipalities, unless you are referring then to the taxes that I answered to you earlier on the first question, Audrey, that you asked me. And I think as a result, yes, if you don't pay tax as a result that is related to you generating money from the property or having disposed of property, yes, in that context, SARS can come after you. Thank you so much. And are you asking what are the rates and taxes and what is the reason for paying rates and taxes? I think I tried earlier on to answer that question, and maybe I might repeat for someone who didn't hear that, Audrey. So the rates and taxes, like I said, it's a form of revenue collection or revenue generation by respective municipalities and is attached to the properties. So some of those might be as a result of having been provided with certain services like storage systems, refuse systems, collection of the refuses. So then we recover such costs relating to such services through what you call rates and taxes with respect to whichever municipality. You will recall that if you are staying in Soweto, if you are staying in the city of Johannesburg, then you'll fall under the city of Johannesburg municipality. Then they'll, on a monthly basis, send you those statements and invoices that reflects what type of debt or so charges rather that they are charging as a result of you owning your property. Like I said, it's as a result of you having a wealth, yes, and as a result, then because you're so rich, you own the property, you have to be paying those rates and taxes. Unfortunately, that comes with that. And yeah, thank you so much, Audrey, for having me, and I appreciate and I hope I answered. You're more than welcome to reach out to me, if I may, Audrey, and tell the listeners that they can WhatsApp me. They can find me on social media as Shileboy Mutiba, TikTok, social media, Facebook, so Shileboy Mutiba, across all platforms is Shileboy Mutiba. And then they can engage with me with their issues around tax affairs, small businesses, property investors. I'm more than happy to have a conversation with them. Thank you so much for having me.